Hi, this is Chad, VP of Products at Slate Digital, and today we are launching the next generation of our virtual microphone system. Now, the virtual microphone system, or VMS for short, is a product that we introduced some years ago with the ML-1 microphone and then followed up shortly thereafter with the ML-2 microphone. Now, the point of this system was to take those microphones and pair it up with some software that we created in order to emulate the behaviors and characteristics of other microphones. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, if you've been recording for a while, you're aware of how many microphones exist out there. If you're new to recording, you're also about to find out just how many microphones exist out there. There have been numerous companies making various microphone models back for decades and decades, all with their own unique frequency response, saturations, nonlinearities that give them a unique characteristic and tone. And as engineers have discovered over the years, certain microphones tend to pair well with certain instruments and voices, allowing those things to sound great in a mix. And certain microphones have therefore kind of stood the test of time because of how well they do their jobs. And when they are old mics, hard to find, they start getting really, really expensive. And so the virtual microphone system allows us to measure and recreate all those unique characteristics of those microphones, but so you don't have to go out and buy them all. Instead, you can just buy one microphone and then use software to emulate all the other different microphone behaviors until you find one that fits a particular use case you've got. So with the virtual microphone system, we have hardware, a microphone, software, and models. Those three components all comprise VMS. And as of today, we've got new versions of all those things. So in this video, I'm going to give you an overview of everything, the microphone, the new software, and the new microphone pack. And let's start out by taking a look at the new ML-1A microphone. So the successor to the ML-1 microphone is this, the ML-1A. This is also a large diaphragm condenser microphone like the ML-1, but as you can see, it looks a little different. It's got some different contours over here, and it's also got a new switch on the front, and that is a 3-position pad switch. So when it's in the center position, it's at 0 dB, but you can select either -10 or -20. And at the -20 position, that gives you an extra 20 dB of headroom, and that means you have a max SPL of 145 dB. To put that in perspective, I believe standing right behind a aircraft taking off is 130 dB SPL, so still 15 dB left to go, and the threshold of pain is like 130, 140 dB. So I'm not suggesting that you are trying to record stuff while amongst the threshold of pain, but the critical thing is with that amount of headroom, you will be able to capture transients very cleanly. So if you are recording some drums or something like that, and there's those sharp transients that come through, they will be captured accurately with this mic, especially in the -20 position. And also going on under the grill, if you will, is there's only 8 dB of self-noise now in this mic. So it's an extremely high signal-to-noise ratio, which means you're just going to get immaculate captures, which is great for passing on the signal to the new software. So to get started with the new software, you're going to go into your DAW, and instead of loading the virtual mix rack like you used to, you're now going to load the new virtual microphone system plugin. And that brings up the plugin, and the very first thing it asks you is, what is your source mic? What did you use to record with? In this case, I used the ML-1A. Now, because I have the ML-1 and ML-2 also registered to my account, they are showing up here, but if I didn't own the ML-2, for example, this would not be an option. So now I've got this mic selected as the source, and I can now browse for a mic model to use with this microphone. I can just click the little magnifying glass to browse, and as we can see right now, I've got 36 different microphone models to choose from. And that's because the ML-1A is backwards compatible with all of the original ML-1 expansions, so that includes like Strong Room London and Blackbird Studio. So as of today, with the addition of Radio France Signature, there are now 36 mic models available for the ML-1 and ML-1A. I can filter for example, choose Radio France tubes. And so these are the 2 tubes that are included in the Radio France pack. Or I could look at dynamic mics. These are all the dynamic mics across all the packs currently compatible with the ML-1A. So yeah, I'm going to select this mic to load it up. And now it's selected, and I'm going to make this a bit bigger because we now have a scalable interface here, and walk you through some of the other controls here. Now, obviously, there's a rumble filter on the left. This one's pretty straightforward. It's just a high-pass filter, which will get rid of some low frequencies that might come from cars outside or ventilation systems. You can click on any of these numbers to just snap right to those values. And there's also a trim, so you can boost or cut the signal before it goes into the processing. So if you recorded a bit too low, you can give it a little bit of extra gain here to get it up to a good level. But then in the middle, this is where all the main features are. So there's an intensity control here. The intensity was a parameter that was available in the original virtual microphone system. With this down at 0, this microphone does not apply any of its characteristics on the audio. But as I turn this up, we start to hear more and more of that microphone's characteristics. In fact, we can go past 100 all the way up to 150 to kind of overemphasize the characteristics of this particular microphone. So if we really like the way it cuts through the mids or something, we can make it cut even more by turning that up. But I'm going to leave that at 100 right now. And the other new control here in the center is proximity. Now, proximity effect is when a microphone gets closer to the sound source and therefore ends up picking up more bass frequencies. You've probably seen beatboxers basically eat their mics as they're beatboxing, and that's because when they get that close to the mic, the bass sounds that they make come out just so much stronger. And the same thing is true here. This slider allows you to model that proximity effect, so you can basically virtually move the mic closer or farther away from the source in case it wasn't in the ideal position during recording. Now, I've got this loaded up here on a guitar track. So Tin Angel, as you probably saw in this other video, came in and we recorded a song of theirs, which is 2 acoustic guitars and 3 vocalists. And in order to get some stereo width out of the guitars, put 2 mics on each guitar, one up on the neck near the 12th fret and the other one down near the bridge, the body of the guitar. And in order to get a good stereo separation, I want to have these 2 microphones to have different characteristics, to be getting different sounds from each one. So the neck, where the strings are vibrating, is going to be more of the articulations and clarity, whereas the mic down on the body is going to be just more of the tone and support underneath. It's going to have less articulations in it. So I want to choose some mics that complement those 2 things fairly well. So let's start with the guitar here. That's what it sounds like. And I can start changing some mics, stay inside the Radio France pack. Okay, so this mic here is a very famous interview mic. They use this a lot when doing interviews and out in the field. And as you can hear, it's very mid-rangey. It really just focuses on the vocal range, which can be cool for some things, but for this guitar, I think it's too narrow. Wide. This is their other interview mic that they use. In fact, they usually have this foam windscreen on it, which takes a little bit of the high end off. Full range again. Yeah, and the ribbon mic here, which is in both voice and music modes, is really dark. Aha! Okay, I like the sound of this one. So this is a dynamic mic, and I think that might be why I like it. It's kind of not as sensitive to the high frequencies. So a lot of the harshness and buzz from the strings seems to be just a little attenuated here. It's also not very bassy. Some of the other tube mics had a lot more bass, but since I'm really trying to focus on the mid-range here for the neck of the guitar, it makes sense to have less bass. In fact, I want to have less. I'm going to pull this away from the strings. I'm going to show you how this proximity control works. I'm first going to turn it up so you can hear how the bass gets emphasized, and then I'm going to pull it back to de-emphasize the bass until I come up with just like this nice, smooth, mid-range area for the neck of the guitar. Yeah, real deep. Yeah, so this is, I think, about where I want it. Obviously, this isn't the full sound of a guitar. I'm not trying to achieve a full sound from this one mic. I just wanted to get a certain characteristic of the guitar emphasized with this one mic. And now I'm going to jump over to the other channel here, which has the mic on the body. And we'll take a listen to what this one sounds like. So here I've chosen a different one. In this case, the BB6, which is a nice large tube mic. And because this is down on the body, I really wanted to get more low-end support. So you can see how different this one sounds. Yeah, a lot more of just the tone. Almost no string. Hear a little bit of the pick because the pick is down near this end of the guitar. Now I could boost the bass even more. But it starts to get a little boomy and muddy. Yeah, that's too thin. So yeah, this right here I think is a good sound for this portion of the guitar. So now what I want to do is I want to blend the two together. I'm going to take the bridge mic, pan it to the left, and the neck mic, pan it to the left, and the bridge mic, pan it to the right, and now we get this. So as you can hear, the sound spectrum, if you have headphones on, is a little bit hanging to the left. And that's because the left channel is a little louder, but it's also got more of the mid-range content. So the brain is just kind of focusing a little bit left on that. But to compensate for that, I've just done the opposite panning with the other guitar. So if we take a listen to the other guitar, it now sounds like this on the right. So you can see this one seems more right heavy, and that's because I have the neck panned right and the body panned left. So when we blend them all together, we get a more even sound. Two guitars essentially panned apart from each other, but blending together. Yeah, and then just add a little bit of compression here. That's all we've got loaded up in VMR is just some compressors, and then some compression on the bus, and then do some reverb. So I'm going to send the left neck to a mono reverb that's panned right, and the right neck to a mono reverb that's panned left. Blend that all together, and we get this. All right, so that is the guitar basis for this track. And let's take a look at some of the vocals here. So if I jump over to, let me just turn this off and just solo this one vocalist. This is Grace. And we open up her microphone. And let's see what she sounds like here.
If you say no, I'm still coming over.
Okay, so she's got a really high and bright voice. You can hear the other two girls coming in through the mic as well, but her voice primarily is very airy and very high-pitched compared to the other two.
If you say no, I'm still coming.
And even though I've increased the proximity on this mic to get it closer to bring out some more low end, it's still not enough low end. I think
if you say no,
it's still really bright. So now we're going to take a look at one of the main new features of the new virtual microphone system software, and that is dual mode right here. So by flipping the switch at the top, we now look at two mics. And it's kind of a common recording technique in the studio to set up two different mics on something, record them separately, and then like blend the two together to create a different sound. So maybe you're getting the majority of sound from one mic and then just a bit of an accent from another mic, and you blend those two together. But you have to be really careful when you do that, because depending on the positioning of the mics, you can have phasing problems as the audio is mixed back together again, destructive interference between the two signals where they line up and where they don't. So it can be difficult to do that right. But what's happening here in the VMS plugin is we are not taking these two mics and blending the recordings together. What we're going to do is take the characteristics of the two mics and morph them together to create one new unique microphone. So there is only one mic being used here as this is processing the audio. So there's not going to be any phase problems or anything like that. We're just going to end up with a mic that would theoretically be somewhere between these two, even though it doesn't really exist. And we use the interpolate control to basically adjust how much characteristic from each mic is included in the final result. So this was the sound of the mic originally.
If you say no,
that's the 149.
Coming over.
Now, if we listen to the this ribbon mic set to the music setting, it's going to have a lot more low end and less harshness in the upper mids.
If you say no, I'm still coming over.
It's not clear enough on its own, but that's why we go ahead and blend them together like this.
If you say no, I'm still coming over. Moon's got a glow in the freeways. River, it's bringing me.
There we go. So just by having kind of, what is that, 70%? That's like 2/3 of the 149 and then 1/3 of the ribbon mic blended together. Now we get a sound that I think sounds really cool on her voice.
If you say no, I'm still coming over.
Too harsh.
Moon's got a glow in the freeways.
Smoothed out. So yeah, that's a great technique to use. You don't have to use it all the time. In fact, only Grace's voice really needed that sort of blend. The other girls, they just have a single mic on each of their voices, the X25 on Daisy, and then was it the BB6 again on, whoops, moving things around, on Taylor. So when we blend all the vocals together and we put them through some compression and reverb, the vocals sound like this.
If you say no, I'm still coming over. Moon's got a glow in the freeways. A river.
And so now if we blend the guitars and the vocals together, we get this.
If you say no, I'm still coming over. Moon's got a glow in the freeways. A river, it's bringing me down to your doorstep. Baby, I'm begging you now, and I'll take a maybe. I wanted to feel it, wanted to feel it.
So I think this illustrates really well why having a diverse microphone selection is such a powerful tool as a recording engineer. It allows you to capture the sound as close to correct as possible, so you don't have to waste time doing a lot of EQ or other refinements later to make things mix together. And that is what's so great about the virtual microphone system. You can set up the microphone once and make one recording, but then take the time afterwards to audition and compare all the different mic models until you find the one that fits perfectly. You don't need to waste time during the recording session trying to figure out which mic is correct, setting up multiple mics or anything like that. Just make the recording, move on, and then later when you are in a position where you can really monitor everything clearly, you can choose the right mic models. And that's also why it's great to have so many mic models available. Obviously, when you buy the ML-1A, you're going to have the Radio France signature pack plus the complete collection of the classic tubes. So you're going to have 18 mics in total right there. But if you subscribe to the All Access Pass or Complete Access bundle, then you're going to get access to all the expansion packs as well. So bringing it up to the 36 mics that we saw earlier in this video. Now, if you own an ML-1 or an ML-2, you can make use of the new software, but you have to be a subscriber in order to get it. So if you subscribe to the All Access Pass or Complete Access bundle, you will now find that the virtual microphone system plugin is available to you as long as you own an ML-1 and or an ML-2. And of course, you get access to all the expansions that come as well. As soon as they're made, they get dropped into the subscription so you can use them immediately. Now we're going to be focusing all our development going forwards on the virtual microphone system plugin. We're no longer going to create any new microphone model, packs to go inside the virtual mix rack. You'll see that Radio France signature pack is not available inside VMR for that reason. But don't worry, we're not taking the modules out of VMR. Everything that existed in there already, Blackbird, Strong Room, Classic Instruments, all that stuff will stay in virtual mix rack for backwards compatibility. If you have any old sessions where you use this stuff, you'll still be able to load them up without any issue. But going forwards, you'll want to use the virtual microphone system plugin because that will have not only all the new features, but access to all of the current and future expansion packs as well. So that is the new virtual microphone system. You've got the new ML-1A microphone with expanded headroom and better signal-to-noise ratio. You've got the new virtual microphone system plugin with visual browsing, microphone blending, proximity control. And you've also got the new Radio France signature pack containing tubes, ribbons, condensers, and dynamic mics. A full diverse collection, great for voice and instruments. Now you can get all of this now. You just need to buy a mic or subscribe with one of your current mics that you already have. And as a reminder, the subscription includes tons of plugins, not only from Slate Digital, but from third-party partners. And if you get the Complete Access Bundle subscription, you get the plugins from SSL and Harrison Audio as well, along with all of our Slate Sound samples and the Academy educational videos. It's a crazy value, and it always keeps you completely up to date with the greatest tools for producing your music. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Moon's got a glow in the free winter